a generous heart, kind speech and life of service, and compassion are the things that renew humanity. An exuberant morning to respected Madam Principal, Madam Vice Principal, Madam Headmistress, class coordinators, teachers, and all my dear friends. I, Harshika Saxena, along with my co-host Sarthak Jain, on behalf of the Social Science Day Department, would like you all to join us for the noble cause of humanity as we celebrate International Human Rights Day today. Human rights are the rights that every person is entitled to, simply by virtue to being human, regardless of their race, color, gender, religion, language, political or social opinions, national or social origin, property, birth, or any other kind of status. At the root of the human right concepts lies the idea that all people should be able to live with dignity. Violations of our human rights amounts to denial of our basic humanity. Human Rights Day is commemorated every year all over the world on 10th of December. This day is celebrated to improve the physical, social, cultural and spiritual well-being and finding solution for deep-rooted forms of discrimination that have affected the most vulnerable people in our society, including women and girls, indigenous people, people of African descent, LGBTI people, migrants, people with disabilities, among others.
Human rights have the power to tackle the root causes of conflict and crisis by addressing grievances and eliminating inequalities. Today, as we see the message of intolerance and hatred prey on our fears, little by little, this toxic tide of hatred is rising around us, and the deep and vital principles that safeguard peaceful societies risk being swept away. This is the time we need the blessing of God Almighty. I now request Madam Headmistress to kindly conduct the special prayer for all of us.
Good morning to the august gathering. Someone has rightly said, to deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. So let us avow ourselves, let us pledge that we continuously strive for human rights, and this is a special prayer that we offer on this very special day. So all of you need to join your hands, close your eyes, and do not repeat after me. Dear God, let all people of the earth gather as one family. Strengthen us to find the wherewithal to shine your light into the dark places of our world. Give us the ability to uncover those who are hidden from you, locked away, forgotten. God, give us the strength to share the good things of the earth and to secure justice and equality for every human being. Fill the hearts of all people with your love and the desire to ensure justice for all. Forgive us for the inhumane manner in which we too often treat others. Remind us of our duty to create a just society. Give us a vision of purpose to guard the human rights of every human. Amen.
Thank you, ma'am. With rising fundamentalism, shrinking democratic spaces, worsening environment and economical turmoil and violence, we are reminded that every day must be a day to uphold human rights. Many of us are fearful about the way the world is heading. Conflicts and deprivations are forcing families away from their homes. Climate change is darkening our horizons, and everywhere it seems anxieties are deepening. Amidst this darkness, let us hear some meaningful scriptures from Bible and thought of the day.
Today's scripture is: Open your mouth for the mute, for the rights of all who are destitute. Open your mouth, judge righteously, defend the rights of poor and needy. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Today's thought of the day is: there may be times when we are powerless to prevent injustice, but there must never be a time when we fail to protest. I repeat my thought: there may be times when we are powerless to prevent injustice, but there must never be a time when we fail to protest. Thank you.
Thank you, friends. Nurture your great thoughts. To believe in the heroic makes heroes. 27 million people live in slavery during the peak of slave trade, and more than a billion adults were unable to read. Who, then, with so many hurdles, fought for their basic human rights? The simple answer is champions of human rights. We can draw inspiration from them, as they have made a difference and helped create the human rights we have today. These humanitarians stood up for human rights because they recognized that peace and progress can never be achieved unless we work for humanity. Each, in a significant way, changed the world. Now it's time to recognize the efforts of these champions with this theme talk.
Peace does not mean putting an end to violence or war, but to all factors that threaten peace, such as discrimination, inequality, and poverty. Every person has dignity and value. One of the ways that we can recognize the fundamental worth of every person is by acknowledging and respecting their human rights. Where, after all, do universal human rights begin? In small places, close to home, so close and so small that they cannot be seen on any maps of the world. Unless these rights have meaning there, they have little meaning anywhere. Without concerted citizen action to uphold them close to home, we shall look in vain for progress in the larger world. So amply summarized by Eleanor Roosevelt, a person's ability to enjoy their human rights depends on other people respecting those rights. This means that human rights involve responsibilities and duties towards other people and the community. This year's Human Rights Day theme relates to equality. All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. The principles of equality and non-discrimination are at the heart of human rights. This includes addressing and finding solutions for deep-rooted forms of discrimination that have affected the most vulnerable people in societies, including women and girls, indigenous people, people of African descent, LGBTI people, migrants, and people with disabilities, among others. Equality, inclusion, and non-discrimination, in other words, is a human rights-based approach to development. The human rights defenders are those whose daily work specifically involves the promotion and protection of human rights. Let us hear Manav, Vedehi, and Divyansh speak the excerpts of speeches of human rights champions.
Democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. The elections is the choice of the people, and it is their decision. The government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. Whenever I hear a person arguing about slavery, I feel a strong impulse to see it tried on the person himself. As I would not be a slave, I will not be a master. This expresses my idea of democracy. I leave you hoping that the lamp of the liberty will burn in the bosoms until there no longer a doubt that all men are created free and equal. Nowhere in the world is presented a government of so much liberty and equality. To the humblest and poorest amongst us are held out the highest privileges and positions. The present moment finds me at the White House, yet there is as good as a chance for your children as there was for my father's.
I'm proud, very proud to be the first person to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. Education is one of the blessings of life and one of its necessities. During 17 years of my life in my home paradise Swat, I always loved learning and discovering new things. We wanted to make our parents proud and achieve the goals which some people thought only boys could do. The place of tourism and beauty suddenly became the place of terrorism. More than 400 schools were destroyed. I am stronger than fear. If one man could destroy everything, then why can't a girl change it? So here I stand, one girl among many. I speak not for myself but for those without a voice can be heard. Thank you.
Let us globalize compassion and set our children free. Friends, the Nobel Committee generously invited me to deliver a lecture. Respectfully, I am unable to do that. To represent here the sound of silence, the cry of innocence and the face of invisibility, I have come here to share the voices and dreams of our children. With a warm heart, I recall how thousands of times I have been liberated. Each time I have freed a child from slavery. In the first smile of freedom on their beautiful faces, I see the gods smiling. Whose children are they who stitch footballs yet have never played with one? They are our children. Whose children are they who harvest cocoa yet do not know the taste of a chocolate? They are our children. I refuse to accept that all the laws and constitutions and the judges and the police are not able to support and protect our children. I refuse to accept.
That was a wonderful presentation. Thank you, dear friends. Racism, discrimination, and intolerance exists in every society. Racism harms not just the lives of those who endure it, but also the society as a whole. We all lose love, peace, and brotherhood in a society characterized by discrimination, distrust, intolerance, and hate. The fight against racism is everyone's fight. We all have a part to play in building a world beyond racism. Presenting before is a skit based on the life of Rosa Parks, an ordinary African American lady who, with her will and determination, made an extraordinary change in the lives of African Americans in 1950s.
Rosa Parks was a woman who sat down to stand up for her rights. 90 years ago, when she was growing up, life was very unfair to the African Americans even after the 14th Amendment of US Constitution for Equal Rights. People were segregated by race and skin color. In bathrooms, shops, buses, etc., the rights were not very equal. At that time, the buses were designed in a way where the seating area for black and white people was separate, and if there was no room left in the bus, the black passengers had to move back and stand or even get down from the bus. What makes Rosa so famous is what she did on 1st December 1955. After a long day at work, Rosa caught the bus home. She was worn out and physically tired. As the bus started to fill up, two of the white passengers were left standing. The white passengers asked Rosa to give up her seat and stand at the back.
Hey, Eddie, I think you should go and stand at the back.
Why is that?
You can clearly see that we need a seat. So you should go and stand at the back.
I've been tired from the work, sir. My home is very far and I have no more strength to stand at the back. And for another fact, I got the seat first, so it's my right and you cannot force me to stand at the back. That's not fair.
Don't teach me, lady, what's fair. It's our country and we have all the right to enjoy the rights first. And you don't take what's fair, as you yourself so black.
That's pathetic that people discriminate us and deny us of our rights just because of our color.
How dare you? You should get arrested for this audacity. How dare she?
I won't give up my rights. You can arrest me. I've been tired of being treated like a second-class citizen. For 42 years I've been discriminated against. I wouldn't mind going to prison.
Rosa was arrested and put in jail. On Monday, December 5, 1955, it was the day for Rosa's trial for disorderly conduct, where she was found guilty. All the blacks organized a peaceful protest in her support after that. a young man, Martin Luther King, joined the movement.
Boycott all city buses on 5th December. We ask every Negro to stay off the buses and protest the rest of Rosa Parks. This will be written in our history.
That day, nobody took the buses. But the protest was not as easy as it seems. Do you know how long it took for that protest? 381 days, which is more than a year. Imagine how tough that must have been. Finally, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was passed that prohibited discrimination on the basis of race, religion, or national origin. Rosa Parks became one of the most famous Black Americans of 20th century. She was called the mother of civil rights movement as she dedicated the rest of her life fighting for human rights.
Wow, what a wonderful presentation. Friends, do you know where do the universal human rights begin? The simple answer is in small places, close to home. So close that they cannot be seen on any map of the world. And unless these rights have the meaning there, they have little meaning anywhere. Let's enjoy oneness and global peace through this beautiful song presentation.
There comes a time when we hear something more, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying, and it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can go on pretending day by day that someone, somewhere will soon make a change. We are all a part of God's great big family, and the truth in love is all we need. We are the world, we are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We are saving our lives. It's true, there's a better day, just you and me. Send them hearts, so they know that someone cares, and their life will be stronger and free. That's God has shown us by turning stone to bread, and we all must lend a helping hand. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We are saving our lives. It's true, we're a better day, just you and me.
Wow, that was a melodious performance. Dear friends, the government can pass laws to protect our human rights, but it is we who will actually bring them into practice. It is we who will protect the rights of others, and it is we who will serve the poor and needy. So let's join our hands and serve our society. Presenting before is a message from respected Madam Principal, followed by the pledge.
A very good morning to my dear students, teachers. Greetings on Human Rights Day. Children, Human Rights Day is observed every year, as you know, on 10th of December, the day the United Nations General Assembly adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in the year 1948. Now, this important document gives rights to all humans, irrespective of their caste, color, religion, gender, national or social origin, etc. Now, this document is available in 500 languages and has been widely translated across the world. The theme for this year is equality, and as per Article 1 of the document, all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. Dear students, as the future of the nation and the world, it is important that you understand these things as they form the very base of human society. I hope and trust that you will grow up into compassionate adults and will fight for the rights of the less fortunate members of the world. Remember, children, freedom is a precious gift and we must never take it for granted, nor take undue advantage of it. Rather, we must use it for the betterment and progress of the human race. On that note, I wish all of you good sense, happiness, and the will to change things for the better. Thank you once again. May God be with all of us always.
Get ready for the pledge. Today, we the disciples of DPS Kola pledge to honor the human rights that express itself through all races. We pledge to demonstrate empathy while listening to others. We pledge to teach ourselves to value people from different cultural backgrounds. We pledge to accept responsibility in addressing social issues, and we pledge to see both the diversity and unity in humanity. Thank you.